Good morning, Whalers, and welcome to WCPS News Network. My name is Priscilla Graham.
And my name is CJ Clark. Today is Friday the 13th, and it is day 3, and there is only 28 days left of school.
Woo!
Let's hope nobody has any bad luck today. Today's broadcast is being brought to you by our good friends at the Dreamland Theaters. The Dreamland is a non-profit organization dedicated to enriching the cultural and intellectual life of Nantucket by providing year-round films and educational programs and a venue for community activities.
Let's start with some birthday shout-outs to Sylvan Collette, Andrick Mooney, and Kamani Thomas.
Happy birthday!
Have a great day, guys. Today's lunch will be classic cheese pizza. For weather, we can expect showers in the morning, then cloudy in the afternoon with a high temperature of 61. Don't forget, Games Club will meet after school today in Mr. Millen's room.
Now it's time for another installment of our Friday special guest. Ladies and gentlemen, we are so honored to have this amazing man with us today. Born and raised right here on Nantucket, many of you probably know him as the voice of Whaler football on Active Radio. Without any more delay, let's please give a warm CPS welcome to Mr. Scott Capizzo.
Scott Capizzo!
Thank you.
Hi, Mr. Capizzo. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
First, let's start by you telling us a little bit about yourself. What was it like growing up on Nantucket, and what do you think about how things are now?
Well, Nantucket was a very interesting place to grow up as a young boy here. A lot of the old timers like to say how different it was back then, but and it was. A lot of things were very different. There wasn't many houses here. We could roam around the whole island and ride our mini bikes around and do whatever we wanted. So that was fun, but we didn't have the internet, and the winters were very long and cold. The harbor would freeze over, and there wasn't, as many people as there is here now, so it was kind of boring. But we made do with what we had, and we had our friends, and we loved it.
In case anybody doesn't know, you are the son of famous coach Vita Capizzo. What is the relationship like between you and your dad, and how influenced you?
Well, that's a very deep question. So my dad, as many people know, was the football coach here and athletic director for 46 years, and he liked to call it the funny farm. So this high school and this whole school has been very close to me since day one. When I was born, they brought me into the gym and they had a pep rally, and the cheerleaders gave me a playpen, and I think some of the guys made a table for my parents in the shop class. So that was a big part of that. And then growing up, I went to all the football games. We used to travel off island. It was different. We didn't have the fast ferry like you do now. So we would spend the night off island with the teams and everything. And I did that as a young boy. I was the water boy for many, many, many games. And then I played for my dad, and we had a pretty good team. So that tradition was instilled at a very early age, and one thing I love about Nantucket that doesn't change is that Whaler pride and that tradition that my father had instilled in me from an early age, and it's still here now. And I think it's great with this, this program you kids are doing, and that to me is just like that. It's nice to see it.
How do you get the job doing the play-by-play for Whaler football on ACT Radio?
I got the job because nobody else wanted it. No, I'm kidding. I got the job because I do it with Mark Manchester, and they were looking for somebody, and my name popped up. Look, I think I was one of the last choices, but we won't go there. At any rate, it was an amazing experience. The team was so good this year. I heard you might be playing next year.
Yep.
That's good. We can use some more size out there on the field, and I really enjoyed working for 97.7 ACK FM, and the people down there are fantastic. And to reconnect with the community and call those games, and my dad, being a coach, it's strange when he's not there on the other sideline anymore. But I love the fact that I can be a part of it. Reminds me of growing up here, and also I can share what I love so much with my kids, and when they grow up. They're 7 and 3 right now, 4, almost 4.
Besides your involvement with the radio station, we heard that you're also a DJ and a filmmaker. What else do you do for work?
Well, that's true. I'm a DJ, and I do love filmmaking, so that's why I think this whole program is amazing. I'm also a carpenter, and I've done some electrical work and AV work over the years. You do on Nantucket, as everyone knows. It's kind of expensive to live here, so you have to wear a few hats, And I have ADD. I don't know what they called it something different when I was young, but I like to do a lot of different things, to keep up the variety, if you will.
Right.
Can you tell us about the short film you made and who is Underground Tom?
Absolutely. Underground Tom there's a folklore of this gentleman who lived underground for 15 years, starting in 1983, and I think he made it all the way to 97, out by the Boy Scout camp there. And he had a nice little cabin. I don't know if if you really would want to live like that, but he had it down pretty good. A king-size bed. It was a small little thing, but one thing was amazing was the custom carpentry that he would do to build this thing. And he lived there for years and years and years, and he said one of his lines was, "I have running water. You got to run and get it." So that was the thing.
Underground, though, right?
Yeah, underground. No, he had to run and get the water was the joke, Yeah, the house was totally underground, subterranean. You could stand there and about eye level. There was a mound of dirt, and had windows, so like the light was coming in. All you saw when you walked up, you'd never see this thing, right? I went there many, many times, and I could never, ever find back. I mean, the trail, it would circle back and go back and forth, and each little stick, he'd move a stick and place it back, and everything was very finite. He knew if a mouse walked down that trail. So he was a loner, I mean, anyone that wants to live underground by themselves, it might be antisocial a little bit. So I did this movie, and he had amazing footage, right? One thing about this guy, he was one with the nature, and he had a pet squirrel. He fed the squirrel, a wild squirrel climbing all over him. And he also had other dwellings. He had a tree house that he lived in that was about 15 feet up in the air, and he lived through the winters in this tree house. And he also made a log cabin out of lumber, pine trees that he found on the ground. That was over by the water company in the woods there. And it was amazing. He rode his bike all around the island, and everyone kind of knew, but nobody really knew where he was. And then finally, a hunter stumbled across him, and then he told on everyone. He snitched. So they didn't know what to do with him. Like, this guy's living underground. You really shouldn't probably live underground. It's not legal. But so the town was kind of stuck in a conundrum. But if you think about it, it's every man's dream, someone like my dad who, paid his bills all his years, had mortgages, always paid an electric bill. To have no bills, no mortgage, no rent, no car payments. So there is that dream, but I don't know if I'd want to do it.
Do you have any more plans to make another film in the future? Or are there any people here on island that you like to collaborate with?
Well, I would love to make a film in the future, and I've worked with, one person I really love is John Shea. I know his son Caden is in school here, and he was on the football team, and he's one of my idols. He's very helpful to young people trying to get into filmmaking and stuff. And he's made a few movies. He's been in some very, very famous movies. He made a few on Nantucket. And he's planning on making another one. So I find that very interesting.
He's going to be on the show in 2 weeks.
Yeah, so he's a wealth of knowledge, not to mention he's just a really nice guy and very helpful. So, as far as me, I don't know, maybe I could make one with these talented young children here that are,
Why, thank you.
they're crushing it with the new TV show. I love this.
We would like to see our multimedia news program become an encore class here at CPS someday. Do you think that's a good idea, and would you have any interest in teaching it?
Well, I think it's a fantastic idea. I would love to get involved in some way. Would I be the main teacher? I don't know. I wouldn't want to step on Mr. G's toes here, but I think it would be a very excellent program to be involved in. For me personally, I would love it. You know, collaborating with young people and creative people that are probably a lot smarter than me. And so yeah, why not? Hey, what the heck?
Okay, last question. Do you have any stories about Mr. G or Mr. Labrador from the old days that you would like to share with our viewers?
Okay, sure. Well, I remember Mr. G when he was a young man, and let me tell you, he was a handsome little boy with his curly hair, and yeah, all the girls loved him, that's for sure. And as far as Bo Almodovar, Coach Bo there, he's been my mentor the whole way. I always have a joke that I say my dad loved Bo more, but that's not true. But but you know, he really did love Bo Almodovar so much, and vice versa. And you know, and Bo, man, I can't say enough about him. When I was a kid, and back then we had bullying, and a lot of the guys used to pick on me. They'd tape me to the bench, and they'd stuff me in the locker, and they'd make me carry all of their equipment, you know. But Bo would always stick up for me. He'd be nice to me, and he'd take me over to McDonald's and get some Happy Meals when I travel with the team. So yeah, I got a special place in my heart for Mr. Almodovar, and Mr. G's not so bad himself.
Well, we're out of time now, but before you go, we have another question that we ask all of our guests. Where's your favorite place to go for ice cream on the island? What's your favorite flavor?
That's a very good question. I have to be very careful how I answer this because, you know, I'm friends with a lot of people that own these different ice cream stores around the island, and you know, you don't want to ruffle any feathers, especially when it comes to ice cream. I mean, that's a serious topic, right?
Cutthroat.
Yes, very cutthroat. Okay, I'm just going to say it. My favorite is chocolate ice cream from the IK? Did I say it? Island Kitchen. I said it.
Go IK.
I said it. But I don't mind JB also. That's the juice bar for those of you that aren't in the know.
Well, Mr. Capizzo, we can't thank you enough for stopping by this morning. We hope you will come back again someday.
I'd love to come back. Thanks for having me. And I wish you continued luck and success with your amazing program here. Thank you.
That's all for news for today, folks. Everyone have a great weekend. Please take care of yourself and each other. Most importantly,
Be
Be kind to each other.
Bye.